So welcome everybody to the what's the name of the podcast?
Pulling that post that clarity.
Hey guys, welcome to Alligator Talk. If you like the video, feel free to like and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode. I'm Vince. The man in the red hat is Dwight. Elmo with the shotgun behind him. Matt. Okay, Big just left. Yeah.
Yo, Big looks like he plays offensive line for the Eagles.
He looks like he plays offensive line for the Bears. The way they're protecting Justin Fields.
He got happy as hell. He goes, hell yeah, I play offensive line.
Hey, listen, if you got little dudes blocking, yeah. I'm not a big dude. Oh, I'm 200 pounds? No.
I mean, we'll get to it, but the Steelers-Raiders game, the halfbacks blocked better than the linemen did.
Dwight, let's roll it out.
There you go. Well, obviously yesterday was Monday Night Football. Good doubleheader. So what was it? Rams versus Bengals, Bucks versus Eagles. I know Big wants to get into the Eagles, but I don't have much to say on the Rams and Bengals, so I kind of just want to get that out the way first. Did you guys watch it? I know what Matt probably did near the end of it, maybe.
I just kind of watched the little clips when I was watching the Eagles game. It kind of looked like watching two high school teams play against each other. They looked very below average when it came to the NFL level. They're supposed to be both elite teams. I mean, they played in the Super Bowl, 2 years ago? You'd never be able to guess.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's very fair. I mean, it was a field goal fest. One thing I will say is the Bengals offense in the second half looks much better than it's been, it seems like. I just feel like they're starting to get things rolling now. They just ripped off their first win of the season. I feel like it's gonna develop into much more for them. And I don't know what the Rams were doing, to be honest. I didn't think the Bengals defense has been very good, but they played good. They got a couple picks. Was really the determining factor in that game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. That's all I have. I didn't really watch much of it, just the second half. And like you said, it didn't seem like a football game. It felt really like colleges almost.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Big. I know you want to talk about the Eagles. I know most of us watched that game.
The Eagles game, like every week, there's some highs and lows. I thought that one of the things that really stood out was how incohesive the offense was initially starting out. Jalen Hurts, really, you can tell that they've been working with him on his blitz recognition and making a hot read. I don't know if it was me or not, but it seemed like he was making the hot read, but he didn't know which direction the receiver was going into. And I noticed that on a few times because one play resulted in an interception that could have actually turned the tides of the game. If was it Devin White or was it I can't remember the linebacker. The ball hit him right in the numbers. And if he was capable of taking that ball for 6, that could have really turned the momentum of that game. But of course, the Eagles defense stood up. Jalen Carter really looks like he's starting to come into his own. Guy had, I think, a sack and a half yesterday, so he's really coming into his own. I thought that Swift again showed up. I don't know. I mean, look, when you get traded for a bag of Doritos, the expectations for you is pretty low. But listen, that was some bag of Doritos return because this kid is really doing his thing. Now, listen. Vince is about 300 pounds, maybe. I mean, he could have ran through some of those holes last night. You're not lying. I mean, he could have juked out. Those holes were so big that he could have ran through them, juked Matt, spun out Elmo, and hurdled Dwight. I mean, those holes are pretty big, and they were really doing a heck of a job. I thought that Brian Johnson, the offensive coordinator of the Eagles, which, I criticized him last night for not seeming to be prepared in the beginning of the game, but he seems to be a second half coach. I think that if and when he finds his stride and that offense begins to become more cohesive, this Eagles team is going to be a team to reckon with. And look at my boy Breed Blankenship. I'm gonna end it with Breed Blankenship. Hey, that boy can play some football.
I would like to comment a little bit on what you said. it seems like the most put together unit is that offensive line. I don't know what they're doing when it comes down to teams or position specialty. That O line, they are all together. I think their wide receiving core, you got some guys that you can tell who are out there running routes, practicing day in and day out. AJ Brown, his routes are crisp. He gets open. And, I feel like he was kind of off as well because I can recall 4 or 5 very critical drop passes by him. I don't know if it was a drop pass, because of his part or whether it was the way the ball was thrown. I mean, to us watching, I never played wide receiver or anything. It hit him in the hands, but any little wobble, any weird trajectory on the ball, I would imagine can cause, disruption in that catch. But it just kind of seems like Jalen Hurts is kind of off on an island on his own. I mean, that O-line, they're playing well together. The run game, phenomenal. Wide receivers route running is great. There's some drop catches that I don't understand. And Jalen Hurts, I mean, I don't know if he's starting to feel the pressure too much and he's taking his development a little bit too literal or what the case may be. But there were multiple instances where he took off and ran to try and throw the ball when he didn't necessarily need to. So I think maybe that offensive coordinator just needs to kind of rein everybody in all at once and try and get everybody on the same page.
I agree. The one thing I will, I saw a tweet where AJ Brown mentioned that he ate some, he drank 36 gallons of milk and it was having a tummy ache.
Sounds like somebody we know. Sounds like somebody we know.
He did say he said he had a tummy ache and that he had ate some Takis and that he would never do that again, which, that's no excuse. I mean, there was a few times where I thought that he dropped the touchdown. The ball was in his hand.
Absolutely.
He dropped the touchdown. I mean, he beat the coverage. Then where the play action read where the safety, that kid is what? Neil is what, 6'3", 6'.
Taller guy.
Yeah, Neil's a big cat. He's a big dude. I don't want to get hit by him.
And I thought that Jalen put the ball right where it needed to be. I just think that I don't blame Jalen for it. I think he missed time to jump, and that should have been another 6 points. So I mean, there was some off passes again. I mean, I think the off passes resulted in an interception, but the ones that were good, very good.
Absolutely, I agree.
Mm-hmm. There was a bit of rain. We can't forget about that. There was a bit of rain, but he definitely still should have had 2 more touchdown catches. There was one that was a bit higher above him that I think me and Big both thought he should have caught. And we can't forget Mike Evans also dropped a couple passes. He still had a good game, but he dropped a couple.
Yeah, Mike Evans did, yeah. And he came off a very explosive week last week.
Absolutely. So I don't know if it was just these elite receivers dropping passes or maybe the weather really had something to do with it.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield kind of seemed out of his element too going against the Eagles. I don't know if it was the hype of them playing the Eagles or what, because we didn't see the same Baker Mayfield that we did of week 1 and week 2. He seemed very rattled. He seemed like he didn't know what was going on. His passes, they were it was like us throwing the ball to each other drunk on Thanksgiving. Like I don't know what Baker was doing.
I mean, yes, but it's also the Eagles' defensive line. He faced? Let me see here. He faced the Bears' defensive line and the Vikings' defensive line week 1 and week 2. Big differences, I would think.
The Vikings do have some solid pass rushers. Daniil Hunter ain't nobody to turn your nose at. He is a game changer. I do get that. The Eagles, they have elite pass rushers all the way across the line, but I don't know. He just seemed very off. I don't know what was going on with that.
He's running for his life. That's what was going on with that.
Oh, absolutely. He's running for his life.
I mean, statistically, he didn't have the worst game in the world.
Well, maybe it just looked worse on camera.
Oh, never mind. I lied. I was looking at the wrong game. 15 for 25, 146, a touchdown and a pick. That pick was bad. That was his first pick of the season, too. That pick was bad. It looked like he threw it right in the hands of Reed. Saw the receiver late. Reed made a great play.
Yeah. Well, I guess, that's what happens whenever, frauds play against elite teams.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Big, do you think the Eagles' identity is the run game this year? Or do you think they're sort of trying to work on the pass game?
So I think that I think Brian Johnson's philosophy to offense probably is a run first kind of mentality in order to open up the pass. I think that if he's going to do that, he needs, with Jalen's ability to move around, I can understand that philosophy, and that's not a bad philosophy. I believe that that's working over in Indianapolis. Both of those teams have very similar identities, so I think that that's a great way to approach the game. I think the way that these teams are playing Jalen and the different looks that they're giving him is a lot different. If you notice something last year, a lot of teams were really afraid to blitz the Eagles. And I think that the second half of the Super Bowl showed that if you want to beat the Eagles, you have to affect the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And as an Eagles fan, why it pains me to say this, you have to affect the quarterback. And I think that that's one of the things that really changed the Super Bowl. And you've noticed Minnesota Vikings blitz Jalen Hurts at a very high percentage of the time. And there was times where they dropped, everybody in the coverage with the exception of 3 linemen in order to try to give him different looks. The Patriots did a lot of blitzing, so moving forward, I think that that's what we should expect. But Brian Johnson has shown me that he's willing to adjust. And I've saw a lot of misdirection plays, a lot of plays that, instead of inside zone, we were seeing like some outside power plays with, those guys trapping and pulling guys around in order to get him into some space. So I think that, that run game is certainly the focal point of that offense.
There you go. Do you think the strategy of a run heavy offense with that elite defense can win them a championship this year?
I think that quarterbacks win Super Bowl.
So you just need Jalen to make step up a bit this year?
Well, Jalen has to certainly be better.
But he's not.
I think
he's not playing bad. But yeah, I think I agree with you.
he has to be better. He has to know and be on. He has to know where his reads are in those blitz situations. And I have to honestly say, I was looking at the Patriots game when they blitzed him versus week 3 when he was getting blitzed. To me, it was night and day. He knew where his hot route was. Now, whether they knew which direction they were going him, that's still, the jury's still out on that. But I thought that, just recognizing the blitz and not being faked out into these zone blitzes, which the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the defensive coordinator, he came up under Jim Johnson, the father of the zone blitz game, where he was here in Philadelphia. So, and when he was in Arizona, he was very good with those zone blitzes as well. So, Jalen Hurts to not be confused by some of those zone blitzes was a really good thing. And if you look back just a week ago when he played the Minnesota Vikings, he was confused. You've seen where those zone blitzes had him really confused. So I was happy to see that while the 2 interceptions didn't look great, I think his overall stat line was solid. I would like to see him throw more touchdowns, but he's not a touchdown thrower. In the red zone, the Eagles run the football. And that's where they make their bones. So I was happy with the performance overall.
But yeah, the only other thing I want to talk about is, do we think the Bucs are frauds? I never really believed in the Bucs, but I thought Baker was having a good year regardless.
He was.
I mean, he's played well, but like I said last week, half of everything he did was to one person. So
overall, statistically, Baker does well, but it just doesn't win championships. I think that's what it's going to be for the Bucs.
Do you think they even make the playoffs? I don't think they're a playoff team this year.
Who else is in the division? They got Buccaneers.
They have Buccaneers. They have Saints. They have Panthers.
And
Panthers with Bryce
Falcons.
Young looking pretty bad.
Bryce Young didn't even play last week. Alma, you're muted, by the way.
But he played the 2 weeks prior, and he did really poorly.
It'll be between them and the Falcons for the division. I said that division got humbled this week.
Yeah, it did. It sure did. I think the Saints losing Derek Carr is gonna is gonna be really bad for them. I think the Panthers, like you said, is just a young team with a new coach, new quarterback. They got a whole bunch of stuff to figure out.
Dolphins put up 70. Are they top dogs of the AFC? I'm gonna say absolutely yes.
I don't know if there's. I have to give it to the Chiefs still, because the Chiefs have been there and they continue to do it each year.
The Dolphins have the top offense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't say they're the top team. Like, I wouldn't say they're the complete top team, but their offense is just electric.
Only undefeated team in the AFC,
They're
though.
firing all cylinders.
Yep. If you let them get ahead, they're gonna take it and they're gonna run with it.
Mm-hmm. They play the Bills this coming week. We'll talk about that game probably near the end, but that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, because they're gonna have to play an elite defense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So is that the segment? Do we think the Dolphins are
The top team in the AFC? Yeah.
I think right now, yes. I think right now they have all the momentum. They have the best wide receiver duo. I think they have a ton of speed when it comes to the running backs. It seems like despite Tua and his head injuries, he's making smart reads. He's making smart moves. He's not allowing himself to get hit the same way. It seems like Mike McDaniels, he's doing well on the coaching side. I would say that overall, offensively, yes, they are clicking. But I think it's really going to come down to them having to play a top offense and seeing what that defense can do. Because I think if they come into Arrowhead and they have to play Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs with a healthy Travis Kelce, I think they're in trouble. I think if they have to come in and play oh man, who else has a high-powered offense? I would say even the Falcons, their run game is high-powered with Bijan Robinson. If they have to play anybody that's a solid offense, I think it'll be a test to see what they're about.
Well,
Yeah, but Pelicans have a good run game, and that's about it. Their quarterback's horrendous.
did he say Pelicans?
I said the Falcons.
Yeah, he said the Pelicans. Yeah.
Yeah, but
We're
you got
talking
to
NBA.
remember
This is NBA podcast now.
you've got to remember if you can run the ball, you control the clock. You are in control of that game if you can run the ball. That's why the Eagles have had success.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to go back to the Eagles. I don't mean to go back to the Eagles, but if you run the ball, you control the clock, point blank.
Now, I don't want to, start talking about the Falcons because they did just lose 6-20 to the Lions, who don't have a fantastic defense.
No, they don't. But the Lions is another team with they kind of got a pretty good offense to them.
Mm-hmm. No, they do. I agree on that. But yeah, I think, like I said, I think it's between the Chiefs and the Bills. The Bills won by 30 too. The Bears put up 70. The Bills still won by 30 to a Commanders team that Big was scared of last week.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was more to the defense than their offense.
And you know what? That game right there, I think, tests Miami. If they have to play against Buffalo, I think if they have to try and contain Josh Allen and everything that the Bills' that offense has to offer, I think it'll be a true test to see if they're a top contender or not.
Well, they do play. They play this week. They play in Buffalo.
No. Yep, it's going to be a harsh environment for them.
Here's a hot take. Tua to me doesn't have the best arm strength, but he's pretty accurate and gets the ball out pretty fast. He's kind of like a left-handed Kirk Cousins, if you will. You bring that guy out there in Buffalo, and I don't know if you guys have been to Buffalo, but it gets cold in Buffalo and it gets windy in Buffalo. And I tell you, playing out there is probably a lot different.
It's also September.
You put them, it's getting cold up here already. It's getting cold. See the sweatshirt. Anyway.
Well,
that just means you're especially my friend.
I would absolutely agree with you if it was November, December, and they're playing in the snow and it's cold and all 6'5" of Josh Allen is just there dropping his you-know-what on them. But it's nice weather. That's football weather. But when it starts getting to those freezing temperatures, I think Miami would struggle heavily against Buffalo.
I want to go back.
No, go ahead.
I want to go back to the Tua Kirk Cousins comparison. I actually like the comparison a lot. Really thinking about it, I think that Tua has a really strong head coach, OC, whatever he is. I like Mike McDaniel's system, and I think it works really well with Tua. I think when you said they have a lot of speed at running back, it's not just at running back; it's everywhere. They got speed everywhere on the field.
No, I agree. It's everywhere.
So I don't know. I just think he has the right system around him to be better than Kirk Cousins, especially this year. And I think we saw that last year too. I think the Dolphins were 6-0, 6-1. They had a very good record early season, and then Tua got a concussion, and then another concussion, and then apparently a back injury, which was definitely just a concussion. So I think we need to see Tua stay healthy for a year. We've seen that offense be high powered. They brought even more pieces in. Just let it sit. Let them stay healthy. Let's see how it goes throughout the year.
I agree, but I do think it's going to be a real test against Buffalo.
Oh, I absolutely, and it's a divisional game. Those are always tougher, so it should be a fun Sunday. It's a morning game. It's a 10 a.m. game for me, so it's 1 p.m. for you East Coasters. So it should be a fun one.
Yep, it's going to be nice weather against a solid defense and a high-powered offense.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't make this a night game, a primetime game. I don't know. They just love making the Giants.
Not to call them out.
I don't know. The Giants are trash. I want to watch them on Sunday night.
Yeah, we got to watch them a couple times this year.
I may as well go sit out in my driveway and look at my garbage can if I'm going to watch that.
I'm trying to refrain from calling anyone top dog in week 3 because we haven't seen enough for me to want to do that, but I agree. Offensively, Miami's been the best offensively, no doubt.
I don't know.
Is that it?
Yeah. I suppose. I think it comes down to the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Miami. As of right now, week 3. I'm sure we'll retouch on the same subject 3-4 weeks from now. But as of week 3, it's probably between those on the AFC right now.
I was just gonna go to Chiefs offense. Obviously they struggled with Kelsey out. He came back, and he was productive. He didn't go off, and he didn't go off the way you would think he did. You see Chiefs score 41 points. I actually looked it up, and it's one thing I want to talk about. Give me a second to double check.
Well, okay, while you're looking that up, I was going to say,
I have it right here.
Are you going to double team Kadarius Toney, or are you going to double team Travis Kelce?
I was going to talk
double
about
team
that.
Travis Kelce. Done. Tony.
I was going to say, it's amazing what you can do when you only throw to Kadarius. It's amazing what you can do when you only throw to Darius No Hands Tony like once. But anyway, yeah. They targeted 11 different players. They passed to 11 different players. You talk about depth. 10 of those players had at least one catch.
That's not depth, though. That's not depth.
It's just not having any star receivers to throw it to, so you just throw your whole depth chart out there.
Mm-hmm.
Depth was a bad word for it. It's spreading the ball around like crazy, but yeah.
That's what you're going to do with a good OC and a good quarterback, though. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, 10 people. You have to have 11 people on the field at every given time, so have 10 people with one or more catches.
That's a testament to Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to throw anybody out there and get the ball to him. Like, it doesn't matter who you throw out there, and Pat Mahomes is going to figure out a way to get that ball to that receiver.
That's why he got that. It's why he got that. The restructure of his contract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Travis Kelce came back. Kadarius No Hands Tony couldn't screw up the game.
It's a random stat, but I was looking at the box score for that game. Blaine Gabbert came in and threw attempted 5 passes. He completed 3 of them. The other 2 that he didn't complete were interceptions. 3 for 5 with 2 interceptions. That's
honestly
crazy.
I thought he was out of the league by now, but
I thought Jimmy Graham was out of the league. Jimmy Graham still plays for the Saints.
Joke not too long ago.
Jimmy Graham came back.
That's crazy. I was watching that Saints game. I was like, what? Jimmy Graham?
All right, so what's next on our list?
Oh, it's probably something I don't want to talk about, to be honest. It's probably the Ravens game.
Oh, let's go.
It's probably the Ravens. I think, right, that's the third topic I put on there.
Justin Tucker got out Justin Tuckered.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Well, that's
That's
what
what
everybody
I
said.
literally texted in our group chat.
That's what everybody said. Everybody said Justin Tucker got out. Justin Tucker. Yeah. So the Ravens lost in an overtime game against the Colts. There's a lot to talk about. I guess Vince. It was just you and me that watched it, so it's gonna probably be me and you talking the most here. I
I'm
watched the
looking
entire
something up,
game.
so you start with it.
Vince watched the second half of the game, so I want to.
I watched like
I watched overtime.
minutes from
Did you
all.
watch overtime? Okay,
Yeah,
so
the
we can all
fourth
talk
quarter.
about something.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to start with one thing. It was not Justin Tucker's fault. It wasn't the refs' fault, even though I would like to blame the refs. Believe me, I would like to blame the refs. There was 2 calls on Zay Flowers that weren't called that I think we can all agree should have been called. I know Vince agrees with me, but I won't talk about it. It wasn't Justin Tucker. It wasn't the refs' fault. I think this loss is just the turnovers. We had bad turnovers, and it's something that we've been struggling with this year. I've liked the offense and how it's been. This first drive against the Colts, drove down the offense, no problem, scored a touchdown. Defense played good on the first drive against the Colts. We got the ball back. We were driving again. We throw it to Kenyon Drake, who we signed because Justice Hill is injured. Obviously, JK's out for the year. But Justice Hill was injured this game, so we have Kenyon Drake on the roster right now. Threw him a pass. He runs for 30 yards. I'm like, oh, big gain. Let's go. Gets stripped from behind by Juju Brents, and then it starts going downhill. One thing I will say is Julius Brents, the Colts rookie corner. It was his first game in the regular season. I'm not sure if he played in the preseason or not. Fantastic. Had an absolute fantastic game. So yeah, we get stripped. Kenyon Drake gets stripped, and then they're able to, I think they went down and kicked a field goal on that drive. Or maybe not. Maybe they punted. All I know is we could not get much going after that first drive. It was fumble after fumble. Lamar fumbled a couple times. That I just think he needs to hold on to the ball better. I don't know what it is. He got paid, and now he's really careless. He's holding the ball like a little loaf of bread. He's trying to scramble any chance he gets, which I don't mind that necessarily because I haven't seen him really run as much as he has in the past. So him scrambling is okay because use your legs. Something I'm okay with quarterbacks doing if you got it. Use your mobility to your advantage. It's the reason you got paid in the first place. Lamar got paid not to throw 50 times a game. Lamar got paid to throw 30 times and run for like 50 to 100 yards a game. But I just need him to hold on to the ball more. We saw him throw a pick in the Texans game that I thought was rushed. He didn't have to throw that ball to Steven Nelson. I think, Matt, you could agree. There was no reason for him. There's pressure in his face, sure, but he kind of forced it to Steven.
During that game, I do think that I think it was a combination of both. I think it was a combination of rush and a combination of good play.
Okay, that's fair. My biggest thing with this Ravens team has been the turnovers. We just can't hold on to the ball. The first 2 weeks, I think we had like 4 turnovers. This week we had like 3 fumbles. It's my biggest issue with this team as of right now. I like the new offensive coordinator. I like the way that the whole system's running. We're a bit banged up, so obviously it's not the full picture of our offense or our team in general. But defense played good. Like, we gave up a bunch of field goals. We gave up 1 touchdown in the first half. They didn't score a touchdown in the second half of the game. 1 touchdown. Mm-hmm. So I don't think our team played bad. I think that we should have won this game regardless of injuries, regardless of refs calling plays. Hell, we were still in the game. Justin Tucker makes a 62-yard field goal, right at the end of the fourth. I just need to see better ball security with this team. I don't know what it is. I don't know why we're forcing things we shouldn't be forcing. I don't know why we can't hold on to the ball or whatnot. But the reason we lost this was ball security, 100%.
I was just going to say, from when I saw, defense played phenomenal. There was a PI technically, and then a face mask that should have been called but wasn't. It helped a lot, but other than that, I think they played great. I was going to say I thought they did a great job at containing Lamar on the running, but looking at this, he had 101 yards, so actually that was all before I started watching.
What were you watching? I was going to say.
That was all before I started watching. I just saw in the fourth quarter, like, he was trying to get outside the pocket, and Quiddy Pay was right at his hip. But, yeah. Franklin had 11 tackles, so that's expected. He was a monster last year. Kyle Hamilton on Baltimore's defense had 3 sacks. So he played well, but yeah.
Three sacks, forced fumbled, tackle for loss. He played great.
Yeah, Colts defense played great, I think, from what I saw. Again, I didn't watch the full game. Got to play it, unfortunately, but yeah, I watched the full game, but from what I saw, Colts
So-
defense played great. They ran the ball,
I have a
speaking
question
of
for you.
which.
Because you kind of going off on stats here.
Yeah.
And, as a person who's played college ball and played defense, I was always just told that if your linebackers have an excessive number of tackles, probably means they're running the ball down your throat. I don't always buy into this. Oh, you're having a great game. If you're a pass rusher and you're blowing up plays in the backfield, I get that, and you're getting sacks. But if you're a linebacker and you're getting 12, 13, 14 tackles in the game, they're probably moving the ball on you.
I agree almost wholeheartedly. It's either they're probably running it at you a lot or D tackles mainly, but yeah, your D line is doing their job and taking double teams, taking the blockers
I think
away
there's a
to allow
difference
the
between that,
linebackers to make tackles.
I feel like there's a difference. I feel like if you have a lot of tackles, it can either mean they're running it right at you, like they're running at you as like a weak link, right? Or you're an exceptional player, like say like a Fred Warner, who runs sideline to sideline, making plays all over the field the whole game, and just gets those tackles just from his physical ability.
No, I'll say I think we were moving the ball on them. I won't say they were exceptionally defensively. I do think that Colts defense is a very fast and young team. I think they move around very well. That I will say, they got plenty of speed there. Not just speed, but like the whole defense got plenty of speed on there. And I think as that group develops, I think it could be something in the future to look out for.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was there at the Texans and Colts game. I think it was mostly error on the Ravens.
I don't know.
The Colts defense didn't whenever they played us in week 2, they didn't seem so put together. When you're in the NFL, everybody's fast. It's easy to say that.
Oh, but Juju Brents, like I said, had a heck of a game. His first NFL career game, heck of a game. Was flying around in the secondary. EJ Speed was shooting A gaps, blowing up our runs on 3rd and inches and fourth. We had a fourth down.
Okay. That AJ Speed, AJ, whatever his name is.
I don't know his name.
EJ.
He is something to watch out for in the future. He had a ton of tackles against the Texans. It seemed like he was in on every single play. He's a sideline to sideline kind of guy. He seems like that dude that's there playing on a Dollar General salary, trying to get that NFL pay. Like, that dude is there.
I was just going to say, yeah, along with defense, I think we ran the ball great despite Jonathan Taylor.
They did.
I mean, yeah, and it's not even the first week that's happened. I think Zach Moss had a decent game last week, too. Yeah.
No, you guys did.
Yeah, you forced a lot of fumbles, you being the Ravens, to clarify. Yeah, we did too. It looks like the Colts had 3 of their own.
You guys didn't lose any. You guys lost 0 fumbles.
Okay, that does surprise me.
Yeah, you guys didn't lose any. We lost 2. We fumbled like 4 times. We lost 2 of them. No, I want to say is, so we had 40 more total yards. We had 2 more first downs. We were more efficient on 3rd down. We allowed 2 less sacks. We punted the same amount of times. Only had 1 penalty in the game. And you guys had 5 minutes more time of possession, and we lost in overtime by 3.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I'll take it though. I was expecting the Colts to lose whether they had Anthony Richardson or not, and they fought you all the way through.
And again, definitely not Tucker's fault. I just want to clarify. He's allowed to miss.
You guys would have lost the game if Richardson would have played.
I don't think that's a hot take at all. I don't think it's a hot. Honestly, watching the game, I don't think they should start Gardner Minshew going forward. But I think as far as like a game manager quarterback, I think Minshew might be one of the best ones in the league. He made timely throws that were the right decisions. I think he played good.
I want to ask Dick to clarify on that, why he thinks that. Like,
I think if Anthony Richardson plays, they lose. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to disagree, but I want him to clarify.
He can't throw.
I think that he's not seasoned yet. He still has some development to do. And as Dwight pointed out, Gardner Minshew made some timely passes that really allowed you guys to maintain drives, which obviously kept Lamar Jackson on the sideline.
Well, no, what kept Lamar Jackson on the sideline was fumbles.
Like I said, I would even disagree with, completely disagree at least with, if Ant plays, we lose just because Ant looks to run way too often. Minshew's not going to do that, obviously, but yeah, he looks to run way too often, and then when he does run, he does not go down.
Let's talk about those cowgirls. I'm trying to say it in my Stephen A. Smith voice. I would say to my main man, Elmo.
I was going to say, I think we're going to start with Elmo. He called it.
I think we both called it. Yeah. But go ahead, Elmo.
Yeah, like I said last week, I mean, injuries killed the Cowboys this week against the Cardinals, and they lost key components of their offensive line. It really showed how good Dak Prescott actually was when he's running for his life trying to get that ball out.
You mean was not? How good Dak Prescott was not?
Oh yeah, I'm saying how good he actually is, which is not good.
I just want to hear you say it. I just want to hear you say it.
I think I've said this. I think you want to talk about Kirk Cousins comparisons. I think Dak is the Kirk Cousins comparison. I think they're the same exact player on two different teams.
I mean, there's a guy I can't remember.
I feel like the problem with Dak Prescott is like when he first came in the league, he was kind of like the guy that kind of ran out of the pocket and tried to make throws on the run and stuff like that. And then he kind of just turned into like a dang Peyton Manning, just sits in the pocket and just tries to make his throws out of the pocket. And I think that's just not his play style. And I think because he has such a good O-line for the most time, like it works, that works most of the time. But like this week, obviously lost a lot of his good offensive linemen, and it just made him throw these bad reads and bad passes and stuff, and it really hurt him. Yeah, and that Cowboys defense, they kind of showed up last week too. Ran all over 200 yards rushing by the Cardinals backs, and they were just letting them have it.
John Connor said, "Get to the chopper."
That's one thing with the Cardinals this year, man. I mean, they got Rich Gannon, right? It's a different Cardinals team. Obviously, they don't have Kyler Murray. It's Joshua Dobbs right now at the helm. But I like the Cardinals team.
Joshua Dobbs did really good too.
He did. I don't know if that's Dallas's defense or if that's the Cardinals' offense actually looking semi-decent this year. I mean, we saw their offense look good against the Giants. Obviously, the Giants don't have a great defense. But, in the first half of that Giants game, they looked good there. So I don't know what's going on with their tank.
Yeah. Both are bad teams. And it's weird that the Cardinals were able to score the way they were able to against Dallas. And I don't think Dallas's defense are frauds. I think Dallas's defense is for real. I think Dak is a fraud. I think Dallas's defense got very cocky against a bad Cardinals team. The Cardinals came in and said, look, Dallas's defense is solid. We have to come in. We have to execute. We have to play flawless. And I think the Cardinals came in. They wanted it more than Dallas did. Dallas thought, they just came in too cocky. That's what it was. They got humbled. When you come in and you don't have a mindset that any team can beat you, you lose.
It's very, very possible. I don't know, man. Is you said you think they're both bad teams? Is that what you said?
Oh, absolutely. I think Dallas on offense is bad. I think the Cardinals overall is bad. Dallas's defense came in too cocky against the Cardinals, but I do have to say, I think the Cardinals schemed very well to take Micah Parsons out of the play by putting him into the middle of the play. I think the coaching in that game was great. They said, okay, we can't get around Micah. We're going to run straight at him. We're going to make him have to make a decision. And that's what they did the entire game. So I think with Trayvon Diggs being out, that left Stephon Gilmore having to make up a lot of ground. That other side that's easy to target, those safeties they got, they're big dudes, but I don't think they're quite I don't think they're technique players. I think they're just physical specimens, kind of like Taylor Mays. I think Taylor Mays was very physical, but I don't think he had the fundamentals. And I think them scheming to run at Micah, forcing Micah to make a bad read, quote unquote. You can't cover both guys. You're one person. I think that shined light on the flaw in Dallas's defense. And I think it shined light on other areas that you can attack against Dallas's defense with Trayvon Diggs being out.
I think that we've seen other teams target Micah Parsons like that, like run at him. We've seen the Eagles do it, and it seems to work.
And it worked, yeah, because Micah, he can't be He can't be in two places at once, point blank. You just can't, no matter how good you are. Even Lawrence Taylor, he's amazing. He can't be in two places at once. I think Arizona, I think they opened other teams' eyes to that. They showed how to target Dallas's defense. I think they showed that, Trayvon Diggs is an elite defensive player. I think that game showed that Dak, you don't want to put the ball in his hands. I think that was a humbling experience for Dallas's defense as well. They came in too cocky, point blank.
Go ahead, Elmo.
I was just saying, I feel like the way how Micah Parsons is the athlete he is, I feel like he does the best as a chasing end. Like if you run away from him, just because how much of a fast an athlete he is, he's going to chase you down from the backside. And I feel like that's where he gets most his pressures and all that is from the backside of the line. And I feel like they did a great job just running at him, because then you're putting two big offensive linemen on him, and it kind of defeats him at that point, just running everything at his side. I felt like he's a better backside player.
Yeah, taking away his athleticism.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Make him fight in the trenches instead of doing a quick shed with his speed,
Speaking of speed, you said Stephon, you got to throw away from Stephon Gilmore. I saw a couple plays where they were throwing at Stephon Gilmore, and Hollywood Brown was mossing him. I don't know if Elmo or Vince saw it. Hollywood Brown was cooking Stephon Gilmore a couple times.
I was in Xbox party with you when you said that, so
I'm not saying so. Stephon Gilmore, he's getting kind of seasoned. I'm not going to say he's got the same speed as he did when he was in New England, where you had him travel the field with their top guy. But fundamentally, Stephon Gilmore's there, and as you age, you can only do what you can do. Unfortunately, speed kind of tends to go as you get a little bit older. So I don't think that's not necessarily a fault on Stephon Gilmore.
Oh no, absolutely.
I think that's a little bit more of a fault on the defensive play call, where if you got a guy who's as fast as Brown, you should have the safety that's kind of shading over the top, giving that safety blanket, because fundamentally Gilmore is going to play what he has to play. If he's playing within a 2-3 yard radius, he's probably getting that ball. But if you got him out there running track, he's an old head at that point. He's one to smoke cigars and sip whiskey on the field.
Not every team has a Hollywood Brown, though. That's also something that you don't have to worry about. So last thing I want to ask about this game is, do we think the Cowboys they bounce back though, right? It's not really a question. It's like they bounce back. They'll probably be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they bounce back, and I think they bounce back because of the defense. I think the defense realizes that they have to go in thinking that every team can beat them. And I think Dan Quinn, he's going to take that hammer and that nail, and he's just going to pound away at those dudes' heads. That's what he's going to do. Because Dan Quinn, he's not one of those soft type coaches. He's a in your face, this is what it is type of guy. And I think it's good for Dallas's defense considering Jerry Jones.
I don't think Dallas just bounce backs and dominate. I think they sneak into the playoffs, but I think it's the same as every year prior. It's just they sneak in the playoffs and lose. I feel like I don't see any different Dallas than I have last year or the year before.
Mm-hmm. I don't think
I
it
agree.
changes until they change quarterbacks. Truthfully,
I agree. I agree.
I was going to say, as long as Dak wanting to, he'll throw some touchdowns, but it'll kind of be Eli Manning like and throw a bunch of picks to go with it. But yeah, as
I
long as
think-
he keeps the picks under control,
For the
they'll probably
difference.
sneak in.
Eli Manning wins Super Bowls.
Yep, I think Dallas needs to adopt the Eagles scheme. I think they need to focus on the run, throw some play actions in there, and hit open receivers. I think they need to bait them in with the run. I think Jerry Jones Jerry Jones needs to be a billionaire, and he needs to get the hell out of the organization because he's telling them that they need to put the ball in Dak's hands. I tell you what, the only thing I'm putting in Dak's hands is a freaking hot potato on Thanksgiving and playing games in the backyard. I'm not doing it. Dak is not the quarterback. It's just Tony Romo's a better quarterback than Dak probably now.
I won't push it too much, but yeah, they got to play the Patriots this Sunday, and the next Sunday they play the Niners on Sunday Night Football. That's gonna be the biggest test of the year until they play the Eagles, I would think.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's going to be a test to see if the defense is for real.
That's what I'm saying. Biggest test.
That 49ers defense is going to be. They're going to have Dak Prescott bent over the bar, and they're going to be doing you know what to him.
I was going to say, you said Dak's struggled when he's getting blitzed and does have time. I expect Bill Belichick to do exactly that.
We'll see it. We'll see it
Not getting
Sunday.
blitzed. He doesn't have an O-line.
Well, and against the 49ers, they got Nick Bosa. They don't need the blitz. They can put everybody in the coverage and send Nick at him.
I haven't seen Nick do much this year, to be honest.
Oh, come on, man! From a defensive lineman assignment situation, Nick Bosa, he is phenomenal. You can't stop him. It looks like they took Superman and put him in a 49ers outfit.
My thing
Nick
is,
Bosa.
Clarify as why I haven't seen him do as much as I would expect.
Because he's disrupting
he demands
the whole
attention. Yeah, he demands attention.
my thing with
Exactly.
Nick Bosa is
He
they don't
disrupts
need
the
him.
whole-
They don't need to get him pressure. The Niners whole D line is good. It's not just Nick Bosa. It's getting to the point where it's
I
almost
agree.
Eagle-ish. They don't have multiple D line shifts yet, but if they start investing more into that D line, like making more draft picks, signing some more veterans, they can be right there with the Eagles when it comes to D line depth.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they got
do sub a lot. Like, don't
they
get me
do.
wrong. Like, they sub guys in out the whole entire time they're on defense. Nick Bosa will kind of just stay there, kind of stay in his spot. But, like, they're always doing D tackle subs. Like, they pull Javon Hargrave in and out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get fresh guys in there to make sure no one gets tired,
Yep.
And I feel like even our backup guys do really well. It kind of, like big guys like Nick Bosa and Javon Hargrave kind of pull attention away and let our depth players get those sacks. Like Drake Jackson is doing really good this year, playing on the other side of Nick Bosa.
Mm-hmm. See, I think the 49ers, they have a bit of an advantage because what they can do is they can shade Javon Hargrave on that inside shoulder of that guard. They can have Nick Bosa playing a 7, and they can have the opposite guy playing a wide 9. And what they can do is they can pinpoint a lot of pressure in one area, forcing that quarterback to roll out in a position where he's not comfortable. And if you've got that guy in that wide 9 holding that edge, that quarterback can't go anywhere and they can't do anything because they got to worry about Javon and Nick Bosa coming in on them. So the 49ers, they got something special on that defensive line for sure.
I was just going to say, and we can skim right through this. It can be a very short subject. Speaking of pressure, if you watch the Raiders and Steelers game, it was a very close game, but both offensive lines struggled when it comes to the pass. But I guess that's going to happen when you have TJ and Highsmith on one side, and Crosby on another. But yeah, they just struggled at times. The halfbacks block battle O-linemen themselves, but
Well, the whole Steelers offense seems to be struggling.
Yeah, and you're right. You're right, Vince. When it comes to pressure, CJ Stroud is just out there making it rain on dudes. Like I've been saying for the last 2 weeks. Everybody knew that was coming. I got to represent my Texans out here in Houston. CJ Stroud has proven to be the number 1 rookie. He is now ranked number one in the first 3 games as a rookie quarterback, throwing the most passes without an interception. The Texans seem to have fine-tuned up getting those penalty calls against the Jaguars. We forced turnovers. It does help that we had Jimmy Ward come back. He is a veteran defensive player that played under DeMeco Ryans in an amazing 49ers defense. Texans look great. I think C.J. Stroud continues to be great. The Steelers' pass defense is not fantastic, so I do think that we have a strong game throwing the ball this week. And I do have to pay tributes to J.J. Watt, who is the Texans organization will be inducting him into the Ring of Honor, and I do believe they're retiring his number.
Well deserved.
Well, honestly, I don't know where CJ came into play. I said TJ, but anyway, yeah, that's good.
You said pressure, and CJ is the absolute. He is a menace under pressure. It's almost like he puts a blindfold on. And if you've ever seen the movie Daredevil, how he can just do shit blind, that's exactly what CJ is doing. He just doesn't feel the pressure. He makes an accurate read.
Now, I don't want to jinx the dude, but there has been multiple instances where I feel like he probably should have got picked off.
I agree. There was one play where he tried to hit. It was a post route over the middle. Jaguars tipped it. It hit our dude's hands, and then it hit Jacksonville's hands, and it hit the ground. For whatever reason, Jesus loves him. I'm all for it. He's gotten away with a few, but I think overall, as a rookie quarterback, C.J. Stroud, he makes intelligent, decisive decisions. He very seldomly runs to get yards. He uses his legs to open up the passing game. And I think that's great. I like what DeMeco Ryans is doing for the organization. I don't want to say anything, but it'd be nice to see the 2012 Houston Texans back.
Also, good news on Nick Chubb. You guys hear about the Nick Chubb news?
It was only an MCL, which is I can't believe it was only MCL.
Mm-hmm.
I've torn my MCL, ACL, and my meniscus. I can't. He better be going to church every Sunday, and he better start tithing to us at this point.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He got lucky that it was really just the dislocation. You can come back from that. After I tore my ACL and everything, I came back and I squatted over 600 pounds. And I'm not an elite athlete being paid millions of dollars with the best training staff around me. Nick Chubb is going to come back. He's going to be just fine.
Absolutely. Which is great news. Great news for Nick Chubb. And actually, it's very awesome to see for him.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Because, he's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good dude.
Well, I want to finish off with at least the top games of this coming week.
All right. Go ahead. Kick us off.
Who's watching the garbage can bowl going on this week? The Bears and the Broncos after they just got beat down.
You know what is wild?
Going against each other.
All the 0-3 teams are playing each other. There's 4 0-3 teams, and they're playing each other.
I think Denver comes out and balls out. But they got embarrassed, and Sean Payton ain't used to that.
Oh, I agree. I think the Bears are horrendous this year.
Mm-hmm. And we won't talk about Justin Fields on this one. I'm sure we'll talk about Justin Fields sometime this year. I think it's being put on Justin Fields' shoulders at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Vince, what you got?
Honestly, no shock. We're about Patriots Cowboys. See how the Cowboys play, and again, just another test for the Patriots.
We talked about this game, and so I'm not. It's the Bills and the Dolphins. That's the game to watch this week.
I agree.
Yep.
The problem is I don't know if I'd be able to watch the Patriots Cowgirls game because of where I live at, but
I do want to take a look at the schedule real quick to see if there's anything else.
Yeah, definitely. The game of the week is going to definitely be the that Bills game. So I'm excited to see that. Can't wait to see how that game going to turn out.
Yep.
Commanders versus Eagles. Eagles said the Commanders are the biggest threat to the Eagles. I'm not going to let you live that one down.
Big said that. The Eagles did not say that.
Yeah. Sorry. Big said that the biggest threat to the Eagles is the Commanders. And so they play each other this week. We'll see how that goes. Steelers
Yeah.
play the Texans. I think we get to see a decent Steelers pass rush against C.J. Stroud. I don't know if C.J. Stroud has faced a tremendous pass rush like
T.J.
that.
Watt.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think, I've been talking a lot about CJ Stroud under pressure. I think CJ Stroud having to play against TJ Watt it's going to speak volumes. TJ Watt is a very veteran. He's a decorated player. And I think it's going to give insight on which direction Stroud is going to go. I think it's going to say a lot for us as a whole. I don't think the Steelers have a great defense, but they've got TJ Watt, and I think it's going to come down to that game. We're going to see what CJ can do.
I really sleep on Highsmith though, because DJ got injured last. He got injured last year. Highsmith had 12 and a half sacks.
Yeah, Highsmith. Obviously, he's the Robin to TJ Watt's Batman, but he's played fantastic. And it could be because TJ Watt is the main focus, but I think Highsmith is doing a great job at the other side as a rusher.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the Steelers' offense. Kenny Pickett hasn't proved nothing.
You shouldn't be.
George Pickens is great, but you can't have a great receiver with Vince throwing him the ball. So
Larry Fitzgerald did have a solid quarterback like 4 of his 18 years, but.
And so as I look at the rest of the games, obviously the Jaguars and the Falcons are playing in London, right? So that's our first international game of the season. That should be fun. And then, of course, prime time, we have the Giants in prime time again for whatever reason.
Giants playing who?
The Seahawks in Monday Night Football. I don't know why they're on prime time. This is their 3rd time, and it's week 4.
We're going to get beat down by the Seahawks.
Why are the Giants in prime time?
This is like the 3rd week in a row they've been in prime time, huh?
It feels like it.
Probably. No, but I don't know if I can say this, so if I can't edit it out, but Elmo would say that's Daniel Jones. Hey guys, welcome to Tailgate Talk.
I'm sorry.
The
countdown got me, dude. I'm sorry.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome to Tailgate Talk, where we talk about football, just anything and everything that has happened in this previous week, to be specific. I'm Dalton. Also, they call me Vince. Due to my edit that. I started stuttering.
Elmo, you gotta keep a straight face, dude. You can't be sitting there creaking a little smile, man, because that's gonna make me laugh. I saw him, dude. He was sitting there. He's trying to keep a straight face. He goes, like the left side of his face. It was like someone pulled a string,